what DIME does is it carries out large-scale randomized controlled trials to test for innovations that, if they are effective, especially cost-effective, could be scaled up by mainstream development programs, either financed by governments or by development agencies or foundations. Now, unfortunately, I believe there's a market failure here where there's too few studies in this field and there's too few interventions in this field. And here we're seeing a lot of the work that is, supported and produced by UNICEF, by ACE, and other great edutainment producers, but I say a one-off in the sense that it remains a very small percent of the massive budgets, right, that go into traditional information and behavior change campaigns of governments and development agencies. Now, I think that there's at least two things we should do. One is to create effectiveness evidence around, the impact of this edutainment intervention, and the other, some coordinating mechanisms that could allow scale up this type of work with existing mega budgets, but that are going elsewhere and not to edutainment. And of course, if the intervention works, in the case of mass media, we're looking at something very cost effective, given that mass media can reach many individuals. But still, there's a lot of, there's an evidence gap in terms of cost effectiveness, of impact estimates of intervention. These campaigns are effective in increasing awareness, knowledge, but there's an issue of motivation, right? We all know we need to exercise more, we need to save more, and we need to use condoms when we have to wear condoms. But the population level statistics surveys show that we often really are bad on all three. A good example of an impact evaluation that informed scale up, Mexico's conditional cash transfer program called Progresa or Oportunidades. There was this crazy idea 20 years ago that if you gave money to poor families conditioned on them sending their kids to school or and sending them to the clinic every X number of months, the government was going to give them a small payments, right? So that program proved to be one of the most cost-effective interventions in Mexico. And nowadays, 20 years later, 1 in 4 Mexicans actually receive a Progresa program. They keep changing the name of the program, but pretty much it's the same thing. So the question is, should governments and development partners invest in non-traditional behavior change campaigns, such as edutainment? And the basic questions of an investor would be, does it work? For what sectors? For what populations? Most importantly, is it effective compared to other traditional campaigns or other approaches like conditional cash transfers? And eventually, is it more cost effective than alternative programming? So I can shift some of that investment to this idea. And we argue that impact evaluations provide answers to these questions, back to the cost effectiveness formula, which is you divide the cost of the intervention by the effects you could attribute to that intervention, right? Causality there. Our idea is not to produce research just for the sake of it, but to use this leverage to convince in the first stage World Bank operations and their government counterparts to, again, invest in edutainment and similar innovations. A few years ago, we launched the DIME's Entertainment Education Program. We focus on the entertainment hubs of Mexico, Brazil, Nigeria, and India. In Nollywood, Nigeria, we're working with the great support of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and recently the Norwegian Development Agency, NORAD. And very soon we're going to start working with the Discovery Channel Foundation, Discovery Learning Alliance, in social norms marketing campaigns that use their material with the aim to change norms around girl education, and with that hopefully increase enrollment rates and retention rates in primary schools in northern Nigeria, which are just shockingly low.